All right, ladies and gents, this is going to be a rant video, so prepare yourselves because, man, Starfield, okay, I don't even know where to begin here. This is not scripted or anything like that. This is just my honest-to-God thoughts on this whole situation that is just being blown completely out of proportion, that has kind of taken on a new meaning to what we expect from specific games and how much hate a specific game can get based off of one thing or another. So we're going to dive deep into this whole boundary thing on Starfield. So this is going to be specifically talking about why you're only able to go so far outside of when you land on your ship and things like that. We're going to dive deep into this, so sit back, relax, and get your popcorn because it's going to be something.
Jump commencing in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, so first things first, this is the situation. Bethesda, they've put out multiple videos of saying that we're going to get to explore the entirety of the planet. There was a recent interview with Pete Hines that said, or should I say someone asked a question specifically, and I'll put the tweet up here. If you're going to be able to, kind of maneuver around the entire planet from one to the other. And of course he says, walk on, brave soldier. Now, a lot of people are saying that this is a complete lie and that it's not true. And I'm going to be one of those, and no, I am not a fanboy for Bethesda. When have you ever seen me, Sinistrain01, be a fanboy for Bethesda games? Never. And the reason I'm saying this, and the reason that I'm on the side of that he did not lie, is because technically he did not lie, all right? There has been information out there that Todd has put in different interviews. Right? Obviously, most common people that are excited about a game, that are excited to get a game, but they don't look too much into it. They watch the main trailers, right? It's been said in the trailers specifically exactly the type of maneuver you're going to be able to have once you're outside of your spaceship. And I'm going to put a clip here that shows that right now.
We love exploration and rewarding it, but you do explore differently in this game given its scale. And so we did find a way, we came up with a way, had prototyped of building tiles, like large tiles of landscape, the way we would usually build them. We kind of generate them offline, hand do some things, and end up with these very realistic looking tiles of landscape, and then built a system that wraps those around a planet and blends them all together.
So you see from this clip, he's essentially explaining that the world is going to be generated once you land on the planet, and then that you can get around in the immediate vicinity of where you land. But yet, now everybody wants to say that this is going to be a horrible game because you can't walk forever in a video game that only a few people are going to try. Right? Already, I can understand some of the unhappiness of the fact that there's no speeders or land vehicles of any such to get around. And this is why that makes sense, because they knew, listen, we want to tailor a game that's going to get you into the action. We're not tailoring an open-ended universe with unlimited possibilities, a survival game, a real, true one-to-one life kind of thing, just like, let's say, Elite Dangerous is, or No Man's Sky, or even Star Citizen. This, I can't explain this enough, and I feel like I can't believe I have to reiterate this. This is not that type of game. It has never, ever been sold as that type of game, right? Listen, Star Citizen has been in development since 2012. I have followed Star Citizen's development for almost a decade. And since Starfield has been released, it has never tried to be what Star Citizen is trying to do. There is a reason that it's taken 12 years. I'm a defender of Star Citizen. I play Star Citizen on my own in my free time because I love the open adventure. I love doing whatever you want, the seamless exploration. I love the fact that I can, quotation marks, walk from one side of the planet to the other. Have I ever done it? No, because why? Yes, there's someone out there that has done it. I've seen a video on No Man's Sky. Someone went from one side to the other. That's awesome. But normal people aren't going to do that. Not even the hardcore fans are going to do that. Only a few people will ever do something like that. But I get the fact that they want it. That they want to say, at any moment, I can just go, right? And whatever I find, I find. Whatever's out there for me to explore, I get to see it. I understand that. But this is not what that game is. This game is an RPG. It's trying to suck you into a story, but also give you the freedom to do what you want to do within the limitations of what a console game can do. And I hate making these silly, stupid voices, but it just feels like people just don't understand. And I'm not saying a lot of you out there on this channel are that way, because because you've been a fan of this channel, you've seen Starfield, or you've seen Star Citizen content on this channel, you've seen Elite Dangerous content on this channel, you've seen it, and you know how different these types of games are. But there are so many people out there, and I think some of them are PlayStation fanboys. And here we go again. I'm going to talk about PlayStation fanboys. I am not a PlayStation hater. My favorite game of all time is God of War Ragnarok. My second favorite game of all time is God of War 2018. I love my PlayStation. Any chance that I get to play a PlayStation exclusive, I am going to play the ever-loving shite out of Spider-Man 2. And I'm probably going to love every second of it. I'm going to be sucked in. It's going to be awesome. We're going to have videos. We're going to have Let's Plays. It's going to be glorious. I love PlayStation. But for some reason, there are people in this world that just want to hate on something because it's not on their system. So anything that they can attach to, anything that they can attach themselves to, any part of a video or something that looks like, oh my God, you can't do this in your game, and you said you were going to be this. It just mind boggles me, man. I'm getting too old for this shite. I really am. Like, I'm not this young whippersnapper anymore that can hang with these young dudes that just go days and days and days of complaining without stopping, man. I'm finding it harder and harder to talk about it because it's just getting so ridiculous, right? Listen, this game, and he's even said it in interviews. There's actually another interview that he did on a YouTube channel, Todd Howard, that explained that this is like essentially tiles. He literally says that. He says the world is divided into tiles because they wanted to tell a narrative story that gives the player something to a certain area to walk around in, to explore, to harvest, to get lost in, to have fun, to see different animals, to see different creatures, different biomes, different environments, right? And also, I don't know if you've noticed, but in the year of our Lord, or whatever you believe in, 2023, every planet that we know out there is a barren wasteland. Every single planet is a barren wasteland. Mars. Ain't nothing on Mars. It's a barren wasteland. We are literally, as far as we know, the only planet in the universe that is able to sustain life like we have. Right? So, I don't understand what you're expecting from something. There's images of and leaked video out there of Earth, right? Well, in Starfield's universe, the reason we left Earth is because it's now a desolate wasteland, right? Therefore, it is a complete barren place. You might still see some landmarks. You know, we saw the arches from St. Louis. I believe there was a landmark from London that I've seen pictures of and stuff like that. So you might find different landmarks that are still out there. But other than that, it's a barren desert. And the video that was showcased literally has this person running. Now remember, he's in a full-on sprint, and it takes a full-on sprint about 10 minutes of full-on sprinting, not stopping whatsoever at all. No walking, it's all sprint. 10 minutes. So walking, you could essentially say about 30, 40 minutes or so, depending on what you're doing. If you have to maneuver around a mountain or something like that. Not every planet is going to be just this barren place, right? There's going to be mountains and hills and other things. It's going to be true to life as we know it for space, because that's what they're building upon, right? They're setting some type of realism in all this, but people's heads are just going way out there, and it's driving me absolutely crazy, because as a lover of video games and a lover of space and what could be out there, we just don't know a lot of stuff. So I love the realism take that they're going. There are going to be many, many planets that are not going to be realistic because they're going to be explorable, and guess what? We can't explore any planets right now. But this is a future setting, so we're assuming that we have gotten a little further in what we can do as far as space travel goes, and there are going to be planets out there that are rife with vegetation and fauna, flora, flora and fauna, all that. What I don't say that right. Flora and fauna, whatever you want to call it. There's going to be all kinds of things out there, different creatures, and that's 10% of the worlds, right? But that 10% is 100 planets. There's over 1,000 planets. 10% of them have things of significance in them, right? That's 100 worlds. 100. That right there alone would be enough to sustain you for freaking years. And for some reason, these people that I just don't understand, I can't relate to them, right? I can't see where their thinking is, because either they're coming at it from, I'm just mad that the game is not on my favorite system, or they're people that were expecting something completely different that didn't make any sense to me. So I've always known, ever since Starfield, and this is just me, I mean, everyone is different, I get it, but I actually think about video games, and I live video games for my life, so therefore I understand video games, right? Not everybody has that opportunity or that time to put into each and every video game that they take a look at and see and want to play or whatever. There's a reason why Star Citizen has went on for 12 years, or should I say 11 years now, because they started in 2012. Well, they've went on for 11 years, and they've only gotten to where they are because of how long it takes to create the worlds that they're creating. To be able to have that seamless space to planet, land on a planet, get out of your ship, walk from one side of the planet to the other, and completely do it again as much as you want. There's a reason that takes so long. And here's the big kicker. There's a reason it's not on console. That's the big kicker. That if there's one thing I want everyone to understand in this whole entire situation, is Starfield is limited because it is a console game, right? That would not matter if it's on PlayStation. That would not matter if it's on Xbox. It's a console game. There are limitations to memory. There are limitations to so many things that a PC doesn't really have limitations to. However, even in the PC spectrum of things, it's taken Star Citizen this long to create that seamless universe and that seamless world, because the detail that needs to be involved, because of the things they need to create to give you a reason to take your bike or to take your rover or whatever it is out and travel, hours into the distance from where you landed, right? There's a reason for that. So it takes it longer, right? We call that future creep or whatever, right? Because you start out with this world of this idea, and then that idea just keeps growing, and it keeps growing and growing and growing and growing as the years go by. But then all of a sudden, you're trying to do all of these things, and yet you haven't finished the first thing, which is that first idea of what you want your game to be. There has to be a point where you stop and say, okay, well, if we ever want to release this game in our lifetime, then we're going to have to say, we can't have this. Maybe in the future, but we can't have it. So let's not worry about that now, and let's get the core fundamentals done. That's something, obviously, that was something met with at the very beginning of Starfield's kind of phase, when they're prepping the game for whatever it is that they're wanting. They're in the planning stages. So I just don't understand. Maybe you guys can chime in a little bit with me here. What is your thinking process when it comes to this? I want you to answer me a few questions. One, are you upset that you can't walk from one part of the planet to another without having to have a tiny load screen, because that's essentially what has to happen. So essentially, you're going to be able to walk a specific tile, like think of a square tile, right? Each planet is made up of like probably 50 to 60 of these square tiles that will take you around 30 to 40 minutes to walk, maybe 10, 15 minutes to run, okay? What is your thought process on that? Do you think are you upset that you can't do it? Now, ask yourself that sub-question. Are you upset because you originally thought the game was going to be like Star Citizen or No Man's Sky, where you were going to have that unprecedented freedom to do what you wanted? Now, when you answer those questions, then you have to take a look at each individual part of that. Like, because if you thought it was going to be this, then are you upset to realize that it's not? And when did you find out that it wasn't what you originally thought it was going to be? And the reason I say this is because you can't sit here and tell me that Bethesda didn't warn us about this, because there are plenty of instances where Todd Howard specifically said, you explore in a different way. This is not like a normal game where you just go out, you're let loose, and you go. He literally said it was different, right? So I just want to know your thoughts on that. Also, the next question that I want to ask you is, do you think a lot of this is related to people being upset that it's not on their specific system? I get it. There's console exclusives. In a way, it's good for gaming because it breeds creativity. It breeds competition. It makes you buy certain consoles because, this specific game is on this one, this one's on that one. That's what they want. That's what the big publishers want, or Microsoft or Xbox. They want you to buy their console because they're going to have something that the other one's not going to have. That's a reason to buy whatever. I get that. I honestly wish there was no consoles. I wish there was just platform. Just one platform, play whatever game, make the game to your heart's desire. Don't give it limitations, create. Now, granted, if that were to happen, then you would have to know that it would take years and years and years to make specific video games. It already takes 5-6 years to make a normal video game, let alone a game like Rockstar GTA 6, which takes 10-12 years to make. You get what I'm saying? Consoles have limitations, everybody. There's a reason they call the PC the master race, right? Yes, it significantly costs more money to get into that master race, but there's a reason, because the limitations are so less than what it is on console. That's why Elite Dangerous, right? Elite Dangerous, you can play on your console. You can play on PS5. You can play, I don't even know if you can play on PS5. I know you can play on PS4, but you can play on Xbox Series X or your Xbox. However, the brand new DLC or expansion that came out, Elite Dangerous Horizons, was where you can actually walk out of your ship and you can actually walk around as opposed to riding in a rover or any of that kind of stuff. None of that is on console. It's only on PC. They canceled it. You want to know why they canceled it? Because it's just too much. And of course, you're going to get some people, I can see it now in the comments, but No Man's Sky, they've done it, and they've done it so amazingly. And you know what? You're half right. They have created the systems where there's quintillions, planets out there, or systems for you to travel and go to seamlessly from one to the other. Listen, I've played No Man's Sky, and I've loved what they have done for No Man's Sky over the past 5 years. When I first played No Man's Sky, I played for like 30 minutes, and I said, wow, this is not what I wanted. This was not what I was hoping, right? I went into that game thinking wrong. I went into it thinking there's going to be this awesome story or this reason to get to the center of the universe, right? But there wasn't, okay? It's all text-based. And there's missions, yeah, but the missions are just go from here, deliver something here, and that's it, really. Okay, so over the past 5 years, they've built up all these new systems, and now there's extra reasons to explore, extra reasons to do things, other things that you can build, and things like that. They've done a great job at making the game more and more and more and more and more enjoyable. But you have to remember where the foundation of that game is lined. The foundation of that game is lined in, okay, no story elements in this whatsoever. That's 50% 50% of your loading right there. I mean, come on, when you have to create a script with story elements, with cutscenes, with other things like that, that takes up so much of the project you're trying to do. When the only thing that you can do, the literal purpose of No Man's Sky, is you're stuck on a planet, find resources that allow you to leave the planet, update your drives from those resources, get better ships, travel to another location, land on a planet, get resources, and do it all over again. That is the main focus of the game. The main focus. That's it. And you do that, and you rinse and repeat that over and over and over again. Anyone that has played No Man's Sky knows that that is the loop. That is the main loop. There's other things that you can do that will help take up your time, build bases, but what's the purpose of those bases, right? There's no story elements evolved around any of the stuff, and I know I'm using story as a big thing, but that takes up a lot, right? So No Man's Sky is totally made, it's a different type of game than Starfield. Starfield is a different type of game than any of the other space games that are out there. You need to know what it is you're going to purchase and buy, and you have to understand that. The reason I'm so excited for this, and the reason this is going to take years off my life, this game, is because it still has that exploration part for me that I'm very, very excited to do. I don't care if it's a barren, wasteless planet. I want to go to it. I want to see what type of barren, wasteless planet it is. I want to see what type of color palette that they use for that planet. I want to see other things, you know? There's so many possibilities for this because it's all story related. I'm a huge story guy. I knew what this game was coming into it. I have never been a huge fan of Bethesda games. Never. Have you seen walkthroughs of Bethesda games? I tried to do a walkthrough of freaking Skyrim, of Fallout 4. I've tried to do that, but I can't keep my attention on it because it just was never for me. However, this is the one time that I really 100% believe that this is a game that's going to keep my attention, that's going to do what I want, because it's cutting out all of the bullshit that the survival space games have, which I love that bullshit, and that's what makes them great. But I also want the condensed version. And I finally get that condensed version where I can go and do what I want, right? You're able to travel the entire planet on foot. It's just once you get to the boundary, you have to get in your ship and move the tile. Move the tile over so you can do the new tile. Whatever. I know that sounds stupid, but it's not going to break immersion for me. Yeah, you got to get in your ship, or you got to go to a fast screen, and then you'll come out on a new location or whatever, and you can rinse and repeat the same process over again. Listen to me. It's not that big of a deal. And anyone that says it is that big of a deal is hating on something just for the fact of it. I don't see the other side of this at all. I can see people being upset if they went into this game thinking it was something that it never said it was going to be. And that upsets me, because that means that person didn't do the job of knowing what. And no, you cannot sit here and blame this on Bethesda. They literally said in the freaking direct and in the gameplay that they've shown that exploring on the planets is different than what you've seen in the past. It's not the same, right? And it's just, all of this is just so upsetting because it's taking away from the true magic that I know that this game is going to be. I really do wish that this game was on PlayStation, because I can guarantee you, if this game was on PlayStation, all of this that has been going on would not be as significant as it is. I look all over my Twitter, I look everywhere on YouTube, and it's nothing but videos of people talking about this and people showing off gameplay of Bethesda things, you know. Bethesda has a unique way of setting their own stories and doing what they do. It's their formula, and it's made them millions. If you don't want to go into this game because you don't like how Bethesda does its games, then don't play it. Watch other people play it. Watch me play this game, and then make that decision for yourself, okay? Give it that much. If you're someone who doesn't have an Xbox, or you don't have a good enough PC, I'm sorry. I wish you could play the game. I really do. I hate that we have these consoles exclusives, but I understand. why they're there. And I just wanted to give my thoughts on it. Please let me know your thoughts on it in the comments below. Let's have a discussion. And we're just 3 days away. 3 freaking days away. And I'm going to have this in my hands. I already have the game, thanks to Bethesda, but obviously it's just not open for me to play yet because of the leaks that have been out on it, understandably so. But I hope everyone has a great day. Thank you all. Thanks to the patrons and members for making it possible for me to make these little videos. Sorry, this was not scripted whatsoever. I'm just out there ranting because I am just so sick and tired of what everybody is bashing this game already for no reason. Okay? Let the game come out. Watch the reviews. Watch the gameplay from whoever it is that you like. And then judge it for yourself. Alright? Love you all. Take care of yourselves. And I'll see you on the next one. Peace out. Meow.